how to write a report of one particular program. So what are the things we need to see? When I was part of this InTouch thing, no, InTouch editing team, editorial, uh, most of the time we sent all the details in the program, in the report, that it will be so lengthy and so boring. Okay, right from starting the travel from their place to coming to the place, and then what happened there, every bit and pieces of information, and all the session details, all the resource people's names. There is no need of all those things. But what are the things we see when we write a report? Name of the program or event, date and place. This is very important. What is the program? For example, leadership training program, or maybe some missions conference. What is the event? The name of the event, date, when it is happening, and place where it is happening. Then the main thing is, what is the objective of the program? You don't have to write objective, but then in the write-up, in the flow of writing, you can write what is the objective of the program, why this program was conducted. For example, leadership training camp. What is our objective? Training or equipping our students as leaders for their respective places. That is the main objective. So you can put that. And then to fulfill that objective, what are the main sessions we kept? And no need of writing all the session names and all the resource people's names, because your audience, they don't know who are those people. And when somebody reads, Sister.Jessy took this one a session on writers workshop, how many of them will know me? They don't know. No, but then what was the objective of the program, and what was the main session, and what were some of the key learnings? Okay, that is the impact through that particular program. Now, what are the key learnings? That is why we have a column called feedback. Feedback from the participants. You can ask a few people how this program impacted them. You can write a general impact of the program from your side, but at the same time, to get a fresh like a reporting type of thing, no, like we see in news and all, how they take interviews of different people. So same way, you can ask a few people for their feedback, how it helped. And especially for our newsletters and in-touch and state newsletters and all, 400 to 500 words is the maximum. So we can keep these things in mind when you are writing a report. And I would plead with all of you that when you have a special program, when you have something happening in your uh, state or local level or regional level, please write it and send it either to your state newsletter or even to InTouch. InTouch, that is USA newsletter. They look forward for some of these things so that even others can read it and get encouraged. And some states, they may not have such a program, so they will get motivated to do some of those things. So it will help each other. So how to write a report of a particular program? These are some of the things we can keep it in mind. And when you write anything, for any report or any writing, use active voice, not passive. I'm very sure you are familiar with this. Active voice and passive voice. There are examples here. And you just read it and see how it makes the difference. Okay. And the first one is, Grandpa planted rose tree in our garden. That is active voice. But we can write in that way also, rose tree in our garden was planted by Grandpa. When you read these both sentence, you know how different it is. So active voice is on the left side, which we can feel with them, and we feel that something is happening. But the passive voice, it won't give that much of effect. So that is why when you are writing, use active voice than passive voice. Same thing, Newton discovered gravity. Gravity was discovered by Newton. Always subject coming first, that will give the what to say, the write up a little more clarity as well as effect. So that is very much important. Use active voice. This is our InTouch newsletter. You can see some of the reports here. That is National CMTC Navi Mumbai, National CMTC Dehradun, National Missions Training Camp Hindi, English. Now all these things you can see within 400 to 500 words they have written. And you will see that some of the feedbacks are there, what people said about the program, and also generally, what was the program, where did it happen, and what was the main objective and impact that is seen there. The secret of becoming a writer is to write, and keep on writing. Ken MacLeod said that. Okay. Uh, you cannot have a perfect piece in the beginning of your writing. Okay. If you wait for that perfect piece, you will never start writing. So, as I told in the beginning, you start writing. And if something is really interesting you, you start writing. Write, and write till you come up with a good piece. Okay. That will help you. Now, one or two assignments which I will give you is maybe tomorrow also, after maybe the whole thing, the whole session, you can write a report on this workshop. Maybe for tonight, what you can do is you can write your testimony. That is general only. I'm not telling any particular program or any particular focus, but your testimony maybe in 400 to 500 words. And if you can write it, now some of the things what I said, use catchy words, use words which will really impact others, which will give effect, active voice. And also, when we use words, don't repeat the same words in different sentences. Use synonyms to make it more interesting. Sometimes we use the same words in different sentences, or maybe in same sentences itself, and people will get bored with that word. So write synonyms of one particular word which you want to communicate, and use catchy and uh, interesting words so that people will have an interest to read your this one. Okay, this is the first session which I wanted to take. Uh, Now we will go to another thing, that is, give me 1 minute. Yeah, any questions now? Meanwhile, I will. Any questions so far? Yes? Any questions? Nobody is speaking. Any questions so far? The screen is seen, no?
Yes, Didi. Yes, Didi.
Yes, sister.
Okay. Now we will come specifically how to write an article. Okay. Many of you might be wondering how to write. Okay. Start writing. That is the first tip we want to say. Start writing it. But what you need to first do, determine your topic. Select a few and find out what you are passionate about it. Okay. Some of the topics which comes to your mind, you can select and keep it in front of you, and select from that which is most interesting to you and what you are passionate about. And then pray so that you will choose the right topic to do it. Okay. For first thing, what you need to know for an article is know your readers, for whom you are going to write this. Okay. Once you know the readers, you will be able to put it in a proper way. Bring your target audience into your mind. If they belong to different denominations, then the points you are trying to make should not hurt anyone. For example, if some denominations are on a difference of opinion on certain things, controversial subjects, then be very careful how you write. So knowing the audience will help you that, and if they have a difference of opinion on anything, be very careful how you write it. You write your convictions, but how you communicate it, that is very important. Then do your research on the topic. Uh, how to do research? Read books or look up online sources regarding the subject. Any topic, for example, if you are writing on inflation, you may not be very much familiar with the topic, but you have a concern. So look at books or online resources so that you will get different ideas. Try to take an innovative approach to the subject. You know, the main thing is creativity and innovation, because people should be attracted to read your piece of write up. Find as much as information about the subject as possible from the Word of God and from other good spiritual readings. On any topic, if you are writing as a Christian, as a believer, you are supposed to bring biblical values and principles. So try to read as much as you can on the topic so that you can bring a biblical uh, perspective to the whole thing. Okay. You can first learn what God is teaching you about what He wants people to learn about through this article. First, God wants to teach you, and through you, then He wants to teach others. So, listen to God, what He wants to communicate in and through you. Then, the first thing what you have to do again is make an outline. Now, before even uh, putting down all your thoughts, now you can think about an outline, how you want this particular article to be. What are your focuses and what you want to communicate? Put down all the thoughts which come to your mind and then try to make outline. In my experience, I have seen that I have made outline and I started working. But as I started putting down my thoughts, in between, I had to change my outline also. So it's not that hard and fast rule. We will just stick on to the outline which we have first made. But as we write, even our outline can be changed. And when we write one paragraph, we may think that, okay, the heading can be a little different, a little more creative, a little more attractive. So that way you can do that. But in an outline, what are the things to see? First of all, title. What is the main thing you are concerned about it? What is the main focus you want to communicate? Title. Then you will give an introduction, the main point that you want to communicate. You are introducing the topic to the readers so that the introduction itself will give a catchy idea what you want to communicate to the readers. And the readers will be really looking forward to read the whole content. So introduction is very important. As we tell for Bible study and PBS and all, a catchy introduction will really open the reader's mind. Then the main thing is body. We all know that. The main thing is content, explaining with supporting information to back up your points. Use facts, figures, illustrations, etc. to support your point. So uh, the main portion of your write-up will be body, explaining what you want to communicate. Then conclusion. Many times people write and leave it, and there is no proper conclusion, but calls the reader for a response. That is very important. Conclusion which calls the reader for a response to your write-up. Why are we writing? It is not just to pass on the information, but our main idea is that the reader will respond to our writing and they will respond in a positive way. So these are the outlines you need to be keeping it in your mind. Title, that is the focus. Introduction, a catchy introduction, a small paragraph, and the main content, that is the 3/4 of the write-up, and then a small conclusion, which is a small paragraph, calling forth a response from the reader's side. Now, title, what are the things we need to keep in mind? Be imaginative, give a very catchy title, imaginative one. And length, not more than 18 characters or to a maximum of 3 words. Sometimes people give very lamba, very long titles, which and the reading of title itself will be boring and people will switch off their mind. So for the title, the rule is that not more than 18 characters or to a maximum of 3 words, 3 to 4 words. That is very important. Please use lowercase letters for the entire topic, that is for the title. For example, write overcoming temptation. You can see the writing how it is, not like full capital letters, but using lowercase letters. That is, beginning of the word will be capital letter and all others small letters. Now, some people, they write title with all capital letters, which is not according to the rule. Use the first word as capital letter, first alphabet. And then if at all there is a and the in the title, use small letters. You don't have to put it as capital letters. Conjunctions like and to, from, about, any of those things are coming in the title. Please use small. Example is given there, writing an article. W and A is capital, but in between and, it is small letters. You don't have to put it A as capital. So that is some of the rules of writing titles. Then after titles, adding subheadings is always welcome. Though there is one big title, but of course you can have subheadings if the topic is quite exhaustive and you need to give more information. And normally the font is Time Romans and font size is 12. Space is normally one, that is the line spaces, that will be one, this one. But if it is official documents, we will give 1.5 as gap between the sentences. So these are some of the rules which is for writing titles as well as writing the whole thing, that is font and size and all those stuff that is there. Then for the body, what are the things you need to keep it in your mind? Keep your sentences direct and understandable. Okay, not complicating things, not writing things which are vague and ambiguous, but writing direct sentences which is understandable to people. Avoid using too many fancy words, idioms, phrases, etc. You see that Shashi Tharoor's thing, that helps people who are thinking in that line. But if you keep using words like that, it may distract people. Using so much of idioms and phrases, it helps in certain limit, but not so much. So be careful with that. Avoid ending up into long sentences. Some of the sentences, when I read some of the books, I really lose the track because the sentences will be too long that by the time you end up the sentence, you don't know what you started with. So make the sentences very, what to say, I cannot say very small, but keep it quite reasonable so that people can understand what you are writing. If it is very long sentences, try to break it and make it smaller sentences so that people can have a track on it. Okay. So keep the readers in your mind, how they can comprehend. So accordingly, keep them short, simple, and precise. It's not in how you write the heavy words and the eloquence of your words, but it is in how you communicate to the readers. And many times we think that we have communicated, but keep them, the audience, in our shoe and then think whether they can understand what we want to communicate. Again, for the body, to keep away the monotonous tone, try to mix up the number of words that you use in a sentence. Instead of writing in the same way, use different words or mixing up words so that it will help the readers. Provide ample examples, data, etc., preferably with hyperlinks for a better understanding of the subject. If you are taking any data or any examples from the net or any other place, online places, give a hyperlink so that will help the readers to understand the subject in a more better way, so that they can open those links and read on it more. And also at the end of your write-up also, you can give bibliography or the books you referred or the websites you referred, so that people can have a look at it. Please note that these hyperlinks should not be of another author's blog on the same topic. Don't copy somebody else's thing and give the hyperlink, because that will only repeat the thing, but it will not help the reader. But give hyperlinks which will take them to entirely different things on the topic so that they can read more on it. Then hyperlinks to credible sources of information, data, charts, quotes are encouraged. Many times we copy things, but we don't we don't acknowledge the sources. So that will become difficult. It is not even allowed because plagiarism, it is a sin and it is a crime. We are not supposed to copy anybody's stuff and put it there. So always give the source of information so that that is validated by it. Always keep in mind the readers while writing articles. Devise your text complexity and data sourcing accordingly. Now, how you make your text simple and understandable, it depends on your readers. If you're writing to the intellectuals, people who really look forward for heavy and quality words, use such words. But if you're writing to simple, ordinary people, use such words so that it will help. Even the datas, people who are very common and who are simple, use such datas which will help them, or uh, according to the complexity, you use things like that. Do not provide unfounded opinions based on no facts. Okay, many a times we give our own opinions, but facts may be something else. But then if you are giving some opinion, prove it with some of the facts so that readers can take it as it is. Then define the subject of the article first so that the reader has some basic ideas or background about the topic. And even in the body itself, the subject of the article, you define it properly, explain it properly so that people can understand. The topic you are doing, you are familiar with it, your readers may not be familiar. So you explain the whole topic, the intention of your writing, the objective of your writing so that the readers will have a basic idea before they read the entire article. Then maintain the flow of the article regarding the topic. That's what I said. First, you will be putting all what you have got, whatever comes to your mind, the research you have done, online, offline, books, all those things. You will put down everything there. But then when you read it again and again, you will see that, okay, this particular thing doesn't fit here. I need to remove that to some other place. So flow of the article is very important. So how will that happen? As you read it again and again, go through it again and again, you will know that, okay, this particular thing fits there. This particular thing doesn't fit here. So try to remove or maybe place it accordingly so that the flow of thought will be there. The best way to end your article is to give a perfect and precise conclusion of the topic. The conclusion is very important. Don't end it abruptly. That is very important. Many times our articles may be very good, but we stop it abruptly. No conclusion, no proper uh, conclusion for the topic so that the readers can respond. Then some of the general things, be clear and concise. When writing, whether it be an email, text, or business report, aim to be brief, concise, and to the point. Make sure your message is clear, but keep it short. Message should be clear, but at the same time short. So be clear and concise is a very important rule for our writer. Respect and value privacy. Be careful not to violate the rights of the individuals when you write a devotional article by pinpointing their faults openly. When you are writing about somebody or something, or maybe quoting somebody, respect and value their privacy. May not be mentioning the names, or maybe not finding out faults and putting it there. Now, be very careful not to criticize anybody. Avoid negative, sarcastic, or overly humorous tones. It is extremely easy for misunderstandings to happen if your writing tone is any of these things. So many a times, because of our uh, uh, what to say, the attitude towards certain things, or maybe because of our over concern for certain things, it can be sarcastic, it can be negative, and sometimes it can be overly humorous also. Humor is important, but overly humorous tones can create unnecessary misunderstandings. And do the opposite, that is, use a positive, proactive, and mature tone in your writing. Now, the moment people read, they should not switch off their mind, but they should be encouraged to read it further so that uh, they will get the whole thing of what you want to communicate. So don't put them off in the beginning itself. Avoid emojis. There is no reason to use emojis in your writing if your goal is to appear professional. If it is a professional writer, avoid emojis, which may be distracting people. Then other general thing, don't plagiarize content. I already said publishing directly copied content can result in serious penalties and lead to eliminating your website from search engines. So you need to be very clear about plagiarism. These days, it is very much what to say is obvious because AI and things like that it has come. Even other what to say sites have come, which will really the moment you copy something and put there, they will show where that particular thing is taken from. So be very careful. If at all you are taking something to support your document, support your write-up, please acknowledge it with a footnote and give the proper source or give a proper hyperlink so that people can see that you have taken it from there. Always make sure that the information you share on the internet, even private messaging, is professional and respectful. Once something is on the internet, it is there forever. So before you post anything, be very careful that you are professional and at the same time respectful. If there is anything which is hurting people or which is unprofessional, please don't post it. Or even after posting, if you feel that something is not needed, you can edit it and you can make it more appealing to people. That is very important. Then structure and presentation. The style should be readable and interesting. Make an effort to find images and illustrations that are fresh and imaginative. Already we discussed this. Use imaginative words which will take your reader to that particular incident or that particular topic so that they can read it interestingly. And include brief stories and illustrations either from your own culture or from other cultures with which you are familiar. If you want to support some of your themes, some of your ideas, use brief stories and illustrations either from your own life or from others' life which are familiar. But all illustrations should be designed to bring out the truths. Now, whatever is the topic, something which is very much related to that and which is supporting the truth, that can be added and that can be given there. Likewise, let your opening sentence of the text be very attractive and catchy. I already said this, opening things, that is introduction and things like that. Let it be very catchy so that people will have a curiosity to know further what is there. Prepare the reader. This helps the reader to get ready for the reading. While you write, you are preparing the reader to read further. The opening sentence could take the form of a comment or quote, that is biblical or any other quotes to reflect upon, a question or a line from a poem, hymn or song. That's something when you are starting. For example, today I started with that quote which you have given in the flyer. A pen is much more, stronger than a sword.
Mightier than, yes.
Yeah. So I started with that quote right there from your flyer and started the rest of the session. So something like that, you use some of the quotes or very good thought-provoking quotes or maybe a 2 lines of a poem or a hymn or a song, something which is really arousing the curiosity of your reader so that you can start with that and help the reader. Of course, don't quote the Bible verses directly in this section, but you can use some of the quotes or something from the biblical thing instead of quoting a particular verse. This section shall contain 20 to 30 words. 10% of your write-up can be this one. That is preparing the readers for the rest of your content. Now, 10% of your whole write-up. Help the readers to explore. That is your next thing. First is you are preparing the reader. Then you are preparing the reader to explore further. It should be profound, enlightening, theological, thought-provoking, and relevant to today's world. Sometimes all those things, the first few things will be there, but it may not be relevant to today's world. So when you are writing an article, you are writing to the present day context. So let it be relevant to the context, and at the same time, let it be loaded with enlightening and theological, thought-provoking sentences, helping the readers to identify and think further. Now, they will be walking with you. Imagine that they are walking with you. You are taking them along with you. So let them identify themselves with that and let them think further. Please make sure that the explore section contain a minimum of 250 words and a maximum of 270 words. That means 80% of your write-up. It all depends on how many words you are going to write. But a general write-up, maybe 1,400 or 1,000 words. For that, we are giving a tip, that is, give 250 to 270 words, that is 80% of your content, exploring section, that is, understanding the subject in a much better way, exploring it further. Okay, so 10% introduction and preparing, 80% is your body, that is exploring the content, and then response, that may be mostly conclusion and the end of your writer. This gives the writer the opportunity to leave the reader with an action point. You can ask either a question, a thought, or a prayer, or a prompt to act. Now, the conclusion should be very catchy so that whatever they have read thus far, 80 plus 10%, that is 90% what they have read, the rest of the 10%, they will be able to ponder over it and they will be able to respond to the writer. So that is very, very important. To encourage readers to respond in a variety of ways, action, reflection, prayer, praise, sharing with others, any of these things you can call for, because it depends on the audience. You know the audience, and accordingly, you can use any of these things for them to respond. Don't be afraid to be quite forthright and provocative. When I say this, already we said that not negative comments, not criticizing, but being quite forthright and provocative so that people can think on it and they can comment. So here, maybe maximum 30 words, that is 10%. So according to the word limits, whenever you are writing something, if it is for campus link, we say that 1,400 words. So accordingly, you divide this 10%, 80%, and 10%. If it is 400 to 500 words, that is the word limit which I have told here. Accordingly, you plan. So whatever, for whatever purpose you are writing, how many words is required of you, divide your content accordingly so that it will be according to the expected uh, requirement. Develop questions for introspection. Try to make the questions to cause the participants really think about what God is saying. Then create questions that will help the readers relate the topic to everyday life. When you make questions, if you are giving questions at the end, let the readers connect it with their everyday life. Avoid questions that are extremely obvious or ones that have a simple yes or no answer. When you are giving question, we know even personal Bible study, we say that give thought-provoking questions so that people can think further on it and they can further explore on things. So if you are giving questions, do things like that. Try to come up with questions that will provoke thought and further discussion of the question. Sorry. Check your presentation. Check for faulty information. Have you double checked your facts? Especially if you are giving facts and data and information, you double check it. For example, MP data you are giving, this many universities are there, or this many colleges are there. This time in our AGM, people asked, is it a reliable source? Because there were some faulty facts. So when you are giving information, check for the correct site and correct information, and then delete any unnecessary or contradictory information. As you read, sometimes you feel that your logical development, some of the things it can contradict, you yourself can contradict. So unnecessary and contradictory thing, read it again and again and try to eliminate it. Eliminate anything that is just taking up space. Don't fill your work with fluff. If you need to do more research, go ahead and do it. Just to fill the space, don't write anything what comes to your mind. But if you need more help, take help from other sources. Check for grammar and spelling errors. These days, all online facilities are there. AI is there, Grammarly is there. There are so many other things which will check your grammar and spelling errors. I feel that these days it is very easy to write because a lot of these facilities are there. In our times, our student days, our earlier days, we had to write and rewrite and cut it and write again. And these days, all facilities are there. Please use it. read it aloud to yourself to make sure the text flows smoothly. You can read it aloudly. When you read it, you think as if the reader, your reader, that is the audience, he is reading it. Just like that, read it aloud so that you will be able to understand whether it is understandable, or whether some words are okay in that, whether some words needs to be reframed. All those things will come to your mind when you read it aloud. Okay. So that's why rewrite and rewrite, even if it is typing or things like that. Edit it again and again, rewrite it so that it will help. Write a rough draft, that is word limits. According to the limit, you write it, read it again and again, see the logical development. As you read it, you will see that, okay, logical development is missing, or something more to be worked on it. Rewrite the article as often as needed till it is error free, and have a good editor. I told you already, get a good editor so that it will help you. And also Grammarly online and things like that, take the help of these things. So you write it again and again, that will help. Words can be like x-rays. If you use them properly, they will go through anything. You read and you are pierced. This is told by Aldous Huxley. Now words can be like x-rays. It can go through any this one and it can pierce you. Now, if you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all others: read a lot and write a lot. Stephen King said this. So, as you have a desire to write, keep reading. And as you read, you keep writing. So, these both should go hand in hand. And we know that writing is the most valuable of all talents, is that of never using two words when one will do. The most valuable of all talents is that of never using two words when one will do. Now, I hope you understood it. That if one word can do, communicate things, don't use two words. That is the whole thing of it. Sometimes we don't feel satisfied, so we use more and more words, okay, to communicate the same thing. But if one word can communicate it, use that instead of two words. Now, using precise and short thing is very much important. Then avoid vague and ambiguous terms. Now, they call it as peacock terms, and I will put it all together. Weasel words. No? Avoid vague and ambiguous terms. They call it peacock terms. What are the peacock terms? One of the most important things. If you say that, that is very vague. One of the most important things. What are the most important things? What is that one of the things? So it will complicate things, but you make it very clear. Out of some of the important things which you are mentioning, what are one of those things? You can say that. Then one of the best things. What are the best things? People don't know. Okay, so these all are ambiguous words. One of the greatest achievement, maybe if you say, no? Outstanding, one of the outstanding character. One among the most notable. Who are the notable people? We don't know. What do you mean? We don't know. So some of these words are known as peacock terms. Don't use such things. And also ambiguous words like studies show. What studies? No? When you are using that, you use that particular study. If you are taking one particular study, use that source and say that this particular study. Don't generalize it and say studies show. Some argue. Some argue. Who are those people? Who argues? We don't know. Critics say. Okay, what critics? Okay. Then more than 60%. No? So that gives us a question whether it is 61 or 69 or even more than that. More than 60%. Don't say like that. If you know the percentage correctly, you say that. If you know between some percentage between 60 and 70, say like that. Don't give ambiguous terms like more than 60%. Then is considered by many, but who are those people? So that is very good. So some of these vague statements come in our writing. So please don't write such things. So when you read it again and again, come to that and see. For example, studies show. Which study? Write it down. Okay. Or critics say. Which critic? Write it down. More than 60%. How many percentage? Look for the facts and write it down. If you are not clear of the percentage, you can say that around 60 to 65%. So that way we need to be very clear about our writing. You fail only if you stop writing. Somebody said that If you are writing, you will not fail. But if you fail if you stop writing. So be very careful uh, how you write and keep on writing. That will help you to come up with good piece over a period of time. Try and never give up. Keep writing. That is very important. You may start with your own testimony. You may start with your own quiet time thoughts, but keep writing and try to improve on it. Come back to it later and try to improve on it. And if you are writing on any topics, keep reading on those things so that you can write in a much better way. These some of the things I have taken from my predecessor, that is Atma Sarubanandan. I have taken some of those things from him. I have added to those things. So keep writing. That is what I want to say. That if you want to write an article, keep these things, informations in your mind. I can send it in your this one. I can send it to Brother Joji so that he can send it in your group. So when you are writing an article, keep some of these things in your mind so that you will be able to write a quality article for any of those things, either for your blog or for state magazine or newsletter, or even for campus link and things like that. Even church pastor is there for your church bulletin. Anything like that, you can use those things. So with this, I will stop today's session. Any questions on these things? If there is any question, you can ask. Anything which were not clear or anything you want to ask?
I think tomorrow it will be clear.
Okay.
Like these days, we stopped the reporting in Harkara Didi, our newsletter. Like
Okay.
there are some.
Because of the issues, no, there. That
Yes,
is something we have to be very careful. And you have to see your particular place, how sensitive things are. Even for in touch, when people send uh, this one reports, we used to correct some of the things. Like if you are giving some people's name, university name, staff workers
yeah.
name, things like that, we used to cut it down because people used to feel bad, but we said no, this will create problem. So MB and all, since it is very sensitive, you need to be very careful when you are writing something. Avoid sensitive terms, sensitive names, university
Yeah,
names, college names, all those things. Keep it in your mind.
I think terms like evangelism and missions can be
Even
replaced like spreading
yeah,
love, something like
yes,
that.
yes, yes. Actually, we even discussed it at national level. We said like beginners camp. It looks like LKG, UKG, but for our understanding, that was better. Beginners camp, or maybe missions when we were saying something else, we were coming up. But some people were reacting to it, saying that no, we need not be scared and things like that. But I feel that we need to be very sensitive and vigilant so
Yeah,
that we will,
and since the
yeah.
audience cannot understand that, so
Yes,
yeah,
yes, that is the
and
thing. Our constituency also very much familiar with these terms. So if we change, they will not understand. But we need to be sensitive. According to each area, we need to be very wise in writing anything for that matter.
okay. Thank you, Devi. Thank you.
Even when you are writing on some issues, criticizing government and particular people and all, please avoid that. You address the issue and bring some good perspective, which readers will be able to uh, think about it.
Akka, I have a small doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, without criticizing, how we can
No, I am
communicate well?
telling, I am telling without criticizing in the sense, don't take a particular name or a particular um, government or something like government in the sense particular party or something like that. You criticize the particular issue. What are the problems in that issue you see, and how we can bring a solution to that, or what are the comments you want to give on that. Definitely, indirectly, you are criticizing, no doubt about it, but use words which will not be direct and attacking the people, particular people, or things like that. It's very difficult, I know.
Hello.
Yeah.
Akka,
Yes.
I missed you. So sorry, Akka, I missed you. Just
You didn't hear?
yeah, I didn't hear. I have a
No,
network issue.
what I'm saying is that you address the particular issue. Okay. For example, now the very big thing is going on is the rape and murder case in Kolkata. Now, what
Okay.
are the problems you see in that? Instead of criticizing any particular government or that medical college supervisor's name or this or that, or don't take particular names and attack them, but you see the
Okay.
problems of that particular issue, address those problems, and what are the biblical perspective. You will not be able to write biblical perspective, but bring some of those principles, maybe human creation and
Interpretation.
yes, how God has created people and how we are using them as commodities and things like that. Bring biblical
Okay.
principles which will make the readers think about it. But if you
Yes.
attack, for example, that medical college, the director of the medical college, you see now some of the uh, writings which are coming, it is directly attacking some of the names and people, which we are not supposed to do, because that
Okay.
there are other people, reporters and other people, they will do their job. But when we are writing, be very sensitive, and address the issue and bring out some principles. That is what we can do.
Okay.
Otherwise, things will become bad. Especially when Christians respond to some of the things, people really feel bad.
Okay.
Others, they will just still be okay. Because I still remember my daughter once she wrote on Holy. They were throwing balloons with different things, and she wrote on that, and how people twisted it and wrote back, saying that because she's a Christian, she does not approve this Hindu festival, and that is why she's writing.
Okay.
So we need to be very careful when we write. Now, put words in such a way that it will only make people think, but not attacking them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Akka.
Even now, recently we had an issue in Tripura University. You would have heard that, no? So the particular person's name was mentioned by that particular group. But when we write, don't write those names and attack them. Write the issue and try to find out some solution. It is difficult, but it is possible. Especially if we are writing about government, as Christians, we need to be very careful how we frame our words.